replace the spark plugs, you're going to replace spark plug tubes. Also want to add that in there. Let's get back under it. Short explanation, I'm going to move you. That's how I got it out. Don't drill a hole in it. Let the screw, eventually the screw will go through it. Use that, you can pull them out. Be careful. I'm not going to film everything. Clean and dry. Very, very good, clean and dry. I am going to put a little bit of sealer up here. Where the block is split, I am going to put a little bit of silicone there. I'm going to use ultra gray in this case, so whatever. Anything works. So, this ain't no joking matter. This is a $40 seal. So, we'll have to make sure it gets installed right the first time. This is a Delrin rod, plastic. Seal is definitely in there tight. She's not moving anymore. Hopefully that'll fix our leaks. Put a light layer of grease on the inside lip. I had to get going on this stuff. I'm a little bit of a time constraint, so I put the seal in the transmission as well. That's already done. I mean, some of these things, new O-ring, new seal, goes in here like this. We're going to bolt that up, torque that up. Flywheel, same difference. I'm going to link the torque spec. I'm not going to show all of it. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a time constraint, so I'm not going to show everything. There is a dowel pin in the flywheel. Let me turn the camera around to make it a little bit easier to see. There's a dowel pin right here that corresponds with the roll. Well, a dowel pin hole, or roll pin hole in this case, corresponding with the roll pin. I can't move this camera, what the heck. Loosen this up a little bit more, okay. Corresponding with the, why won't you focus? Right there. Doesn't focus, all right. Anyway, that's what I'm at. Now this has to be mounted, of course. Now that we got the seal on here, well, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and pause you up. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Put the bolts in it, torque them back up. Pilot bearing right here. We use a driver that fits flat on the inside, and the edge goes flush with the flywheel. I just happened to think about something, and I don't know if I actually set that or not. These flywheels, there is a big debate, okay, on whether or not you should cut those flywheels. Commonly, these dual mass flywheels, you don't cut them, you replace them. But they can be cut, they've been cut, they've worked perfectly fine, so as long as you don't remove a lot of material. Alright, so the flywheel is bolted on. I'm gonna link the torque spec, hopefully I don't forget. The next step is vital, really vital. These bolts must be pulled up in a sequence like this. You have to walk them around. If you do not, you take a big chance on deforming that sheet metal. The housing here is just sheet metal, is all it is. Yeah, kind of keep that in mind. You're not going to want to deform that. You know, pull it up even, and they should go pretty light. You see, I've got a short stubby ratchet here. Got that for a reason. So, thrust plate to the double mass flywheel, 17 foot-pounds. Pause you back up. So, update. We reversed everything. Now we're down to, I got my, go up a little bit. All right, I got my cylinder back in, got the line slipped in here, clipped into the bracket. I have not got my CV axles in just yet. Obviously I stuck the transmission, put the exhaust hanger on, I got all that's hung back up. There's some bits and pieces now that that were filmed in the first place and I'm not going to do. Like I said, there's one CV axle, I just put a band around it. Now I'm going to share this with you. Yeah, I'm going to share that with you. Give me just a minute and I'll pause this up and turn the camera back on. So I had to close the door so the light does not interfere. This is probably going to have water running out of it, so I do want to do a little bit of cleaning up here. The boots do not look hurt. They just don't appear to be cracked or anything like that. If it is, I cannot see it. I mean, I've looked at them, you know, and I just can't see it. The whole assembly here is loose, and the reason it is loose is because these lift tabs, I don't personally know of a tool that does these. I mean, you know, it's just crap. It's big crap. That's what it is. We're probably gonna have water in this, but I can tell you right off the bat that water, if there's water in it, it ain't gonna hurt nothing as long as I get it out right now. And yeah, I call that. So we'll get the water dumped out of the boot. What it is, it's from the parts washer. That water will get out of there. It'll evaporate. It has agents in it, so it does not rust. It doesn't make it rust. And like I said, it will eventually boil itself out. So here we got the CV axle grease. I'm gonna load this thing up. All right, we'll try to, what we're trying to accomplish here is we're trying to save it. If you can find it, Moog 3301 is what I used to use. It has the cheapest price and it's good grease. This one here, a little bit pricey. It was a Dorman can. Out of all things in the world, it had to be Dorman. But in any event, I'm not going to knock it. Grease is grease. I mean, I'm sure they don't make the grease. So anyhow, that's not the point of me saying I'm going to share this with you. There's a different point to be made here in just a second. Now you've seen that that boot was pretty loose. So, and obviously it has leaked, or else there would have been no water in it. Now, camera angle is gonna kind of suck. But anyway, I'm gonna show you this. They're relatively inexpensive. And when I say relatively, I mean relatively. That's a 3416. Boxster sold the quantities of 10, so. And what that is this type right here. Is what it is. This is one of the tools that we can use to tighten these clamps. And the way that works, I'm going to try to do it from the other side. Not really my side, but anyway, I'm going to do it right there. The way that works, we'll take a ratchet and we start winding this up. And we're going to do this until we get close. Now this thing has a groove in it, so it ain't going nowhere. Now, it's hard for you to see this, but that's basically what I'm doing right here. Okay, I'm going to come around to the other side, try to hold that fairly straight. Now, that's going to put the dead squeeze on it right here. Okay, know when to stop. And now, this is pretty friggin' tight. You know, you have to really work at it to get it to move. So these in my opinion are a lot better clamps. Now sometimes I dimple them, sometimes I don't. They'll hold in place, they're not going to go anywhere. I can promise you. But like I said, sometimes I'll just fold that tab up enough, get me a center plunge, it helps put it in place and all that good stuff. So we'll bend that tab over real good. I figured I'd share that with you. And that being said, move you over here. That being said, I'm going to put the CV axles back in. Now, there's not really anything to explain other than put them back in the way you got them out. You know, so all I got for you on that one is just to put them back in just the way you got them out. And I'm going to do that right now. So that's slipped in and ready to slip up in the top. I take it right there on the side. I move this. I pivoted it over a little bit, and there you go. It goes in there. Well, now that is sitting in place, we can bolt it up. Make sure all your cups and everything is clean. I already did that. So I'm not going to film all that because at this point in time it's going to be redundant because I showed you how to take it apart. So, drain plug. Finally got around draining the transmission. Ain't no water in it, by the way. That's what that looks like. Hopefully the camera can see it. That's a M16. You don't have to have that socket. It's either that or you have to weld something to it, which I don't recommend, but anyway. This is a multi-toothed triple square 16. Now, I know people get tickled with that, but don't over tighten these, they don't leak ever. It's a 17. You're gonna have to have a honking Allen wrench on this one. Make sure you have one of those before you start that job. Fill is approximately 2.5 quarts, so draining plug. I mean, well, meant to turn it around. But there's 17 mil, so if you don't have a 17 mil and you don't want to buy one, a bolt and some good vice grips will do it as well. 17 millimeter headed bolt, that is. Got me a little formed radiator hose over here. I don't really feel like getting my filler out tonight. This afternoon, whatever. I'm just going to squeeze the can today. I guess I don't have to tell you, take your time. You don't make a friggin' mess. A lot of times when I do this, I use a little bit of friggin' electrical tape. That was a stupid thing to do, but we're all human, I guess. We do stupid things sometimes. So let's try this one more time. Hopefully this time without sloshing it in the floor like I just did. Get in a hurry. We have a little bit much in here. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Manual transmission is not too susceptible about having a little bit too much in it. You don't want to overfill it to the point where it's going to be a problem, obviously. Well, yeah, kind of goes without saying. Mobile 1 is the lubricant. Let me show you. This is certified 40 application, so that's what I'm using. The Redline has got that certification as well, but I don't use Redline as I think it's too expensive. Crazy expensive for what it is. This Mobile 1 is perfectly fine, and nothing wrong with Mobile 1. It's obviously lost some on the ground, so We'll give it another tiny squeeze, and that should be good enough right there. A couple of drips on the ground there, being stupid. But anyway, I figured I'll leave the camera rolling for that one. Don't know why. I guess you could have figured that out on your own, but anyway, put the drain plug back in, and that part is done. When you're bleeding your throwout cylinder, you're gonna have to have some of this. That's approved for this vehicle, so that's what's gonna go in it. I'm not gonna do anything on the bottom yet. I'm not gonna put the shield and everything back on. Obviously, it's gonna be in the way of our bleeding. I want to get that undone. I'm gonna pause the camera up. That part is pretty much self-explanatory. We're gonna have to put fluid in the top and obviously fill that up and let this bleed through. So I shouldn't have to film that part. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm using some long extensions to get to that bleeder up there. And I didn't say that earlier. This one we're going to say a little prayer that we don't have no problem with our clutch cylinder, because that Pentacin right there is very, very expensive. At least it is here. It's starting to drip real good right now. That should have no problem gravity feeding. And it should have no problem priming it. And I hope it did, because like I said, again, this stuff is crazy expensive. I forget what it was. I think it was like $40 for that quart. So I'll pause you back up and see if we got anything on the clutch. So I got us a little flapper in here. Well, that's the other part of the intake. Generally used to make more torque. Not going to get into specifics. Interesting part is I removed that part right there, and I didn't see it, of course, before, obviously, or I would have mentioned it. But well, we just might have destroyed a home. Now, we got some mouse action in there. So, mouse built a nest right there. I'm going to have to clean that up as well. So, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. So, we've got the top here hooked back up. Now, clip the side panel in. Got the whatever that cord is that holds it in place, got that put back up, and now we're going to very carefully lift this and put it up here. That one is not too hard to do because you can see the outline on the paint. So we're going to get this taken care of first. And I'm gonna pause you up. I've bled the clutch on the bottom, so when we're fixing to go under, I've had the car around and tried the clutch, see how it feels. Feels good. Let me get this done, and we'll go back under it and see if we can't finish it off. All right, so we got our bar back in, our shield back up, stabilizer link is hooked back up, and all of that much, much, much cleaner than what it came in here. So we can actually see parts that we could not before. Hopefully, we can now start it up and drive it without a problem. Everything is buttoned back up, exhaust, everything, it should be good to go. In this case here, I did not replace the exhaust gaskets. These are generally reusable. The only way I replace them if they leak. They're so easy to change. The only way I replace them if they leak, and they do not. So that's going to conclude this video. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Leave me some comment in the comment box. So the only thing left to do for me here is put the tires on this thing and try to figure out how to unlock the radio. We'll see you on the next one.